Mythical creatures have been the talk for thousands of years, right back to the ancient sailors who reported giant kraken squids that I've talked about before, to modern day dragons we see on TV, and mermaids that we all love to learn about. But just how much truth is behind the huge catalogue of mythical creatures? I've always wondered, surely there must be some truth behind them in order for them to have been reported. Well, from England's most notorious mythical creature, to the terrifying reports and even a supposed photograph of Lustica, the Bahamas giant octopus. Here are 5 fascinating mythical creatures, and the possible sightings and encounters with them. Before I start, I want to let you know the Top 5s magazine is now available, but I will save that for the end of the video, so as always, sit back and enjoy. The Dogman. Reports of the mythical Michigan Dogman are nothing new. The first sighting was reported in 1887 in Wexford County, and the dog-like creature is thought to have stalked the area of Manistee River since the days of the Ottawa tribe. The creature is described as between 5 and 8 feet tall, with canine-like features and the body of a human. The one feature that stands out is its piercing blue or amber eyes, and its human-like scream. Over the years, sightings have been reported in numerous locations throughout Michigan, like in January 2016 when a Western Michigan resident decided to take a walk in the family woods. The walk was uneventful until he stopped to have a cigarette, when he noticed a figure in the distance that was definitely not human. The man later described it as standing upright with very broad shoulders that growled before leaping off into the woods. Another reported sighting took place in St. Clair County woods in eastern Michigan sometime in February 2015, when a woman described seeing an encounter between a group of creatures that she said resembled Dogman or possibly Bigfoot. She described the animals as the size of an average man, stood on hind legs with pointed ears and covered in patchy brown fur. But instead of paws, they had human-like hands and feet with claws instead of fingernails. The woman wishes to remain anonymous, but she did capture some video. Now it's very short and extremely hard to make out, but take a look. In the exact same area, a hunter took a photograph of an unknown beast that he believes was a dogman eating. Again, it's very hard to make out, but do you believe in the tales, and could the creature be out there? Or do you think the dogman is nothing more than an urban legend? Mono Grande is Spanish for large monkey, and encounters with this creature are surprisingly common, yet receive little attention. Reports of a monkey-like creature go back as far as 1533, when Spanish explorers recorded in their writings that South American natives told stories of a creature called Maramondas, meaning long-legged monkey. Even Sir Walter Raleigh told of sightings of a giant monkey-type creature in South America, and although he had not witnessed the creature himself, he had heard enough eyewitness reports to believe that the creature existed. The influential and widely travelled naturalist Alexander von Humboldt, who explored South America in the early 19th century, was also told by natives and missionaries of furry human-like creatures who built huts and feasted on human flesh. The communities he spoke to were very sure of its existence. However, perhaps the most talked about and well-known example of a possible Mono Grande was in 1920 with the Deloise ape incident. Francois Deloise was an early 1900s Swiss geological explorer who claimed that while camped near the Tara River in Colombia, his group was approached by 2 large creatures. Initially they thought it was bears, although their characteristics were more monkey-like. Fearing that their lives were in danger, they started shooting at the creatures and fatally wounded one of them. The group then realised that this creature was not of any known species, so they decided to pose the dead carcass and take some photographs, before skinning the animal and keeping its head and hide. When Francois returned from his expedition, he kept the encounter with the beast to himself, and it wasn't until 1929, when a friend of his was looking through the Deloise log of the expedition, that he came across the photograph and the full story was revealed. Of course, there has been some controversy about the authenticity of the photo, and the account of what happened, as he claims that the skull and hide of the creature was lost during the expedition. Whatever the truth, the photograph and legends are pretty interesting, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Melonheads. Now, this is possibly the strangest on this list. Melonheads are supposed mutant humanoids that are said to wander the forests of Michigan, Ohio, and Connecticut. There is very little information on them, but it is known that they came to light in the 1970s, and their tales depend on what region they are found in. In Michigan, there have been sightings in forest areas around Ottawa County and the Felt Mansion estate, that is near the now dilapidated Junction Insane Asylum. It's believed the asylum housed children suffering from the brain disease hydrocephalus that causes an overlarge head. After suffering years of physical and emotional abuse, it's said the children escaped and lived feral in the surrounding forests. Other versions of the story say the abused children took revenge on the doctor who inflicted their suffering by killing him, cutting up his body, and scattering it around the estate. In Ohio, a similar story exists around the suburbs of Kirtland, where it's alleged the Melonheads were orphans being looked after by the mysterious Dr. Crow, who performed hideous experiments on the children, resulting in their huge heads and disfigured limbs. As with the Michigan story, the children took revenge on the doctor by burning down the orphanage and running into the forest where they still reside. In another variation from Connecticut, the Melonheads are the result of patients escaping from a burnt-out asylum for the criminally insane, and after fleeing to the forest and partaking in cannibalism and inbreeding, they developed hydrocephalus. The slight variations in these stories tend to point to myth rather than any real truth, as no photographs or hard evidence has ever been put forward, apart from passed down stories. So if anyone lives in the areas where these supposed humanoids live, it would be great to hear if you could help shed some light on these mysterious beings. It's worth remembering hydrocephalus is very real, and I am in no way trying to trivialize that condition when talking about these supposed mythical beings and urban legends. Spring-heeled Jack. The spring-heeled Jack is one of England's most famous Victorian-era mythical creatures. The first reported sighting of one took place in 1837, when he was described as a human-like creature with terrifying facial features, burning red eyes, a goatee beard, pointed ears and horns, along with clawed hands and an astonishing ability to jump across rooftops and walls. After the first reports, sightings of the creatures were seen all over the UK, such as in October 1837 when a servant girl named Mary Stevens was supposedly attacked by one as she walked through Clapton Common. The next day, the creature leapt out in front of a stagecoach, scaring the horses and causing the coachman to lose control and crash his carriage. There were several witnesses to the incident who claimed they saw the creature flee the scene by jumping over a 10-foot wall whilst mumbling in a high-pitched voice. More and more of these incidents occurred, and when the press started reporting on them, they gave the creature the name Spring-heeled Jack, warning children of the creature that lurked on the roofs of pubs, churches and houses. It wasn't long before panic set in, and Jack was being seen everywhere. It seemed the public was finding it difficult to distinguish between truth and myth. The last reported sighting was in 1904, and ever since there have been many theories about who and what the spring-heeled Jack was. Whatever it was, it caused genuine havoc at the time, quite like the killer clown craze we have experienced recently. Lusca. The Lusca is an unknown sea monster, thought to be a gigantic octopus, that has been spotted in seas around the Caribbean, mainly around the blue holes surrounding the Bahamas island of Andros. The only photograph of a possible Lusca was taken in 1896 when a creature was spotted by two boys washed up on the Anastasia Island. They reported the find to the founder of the St. Augustine Historical Society, Dr. Whit Webb, and he studied the huge carcass. He concluded it was the remains of a never-before-seen giant octopus, and it acquired the name the St. Augustine Monster. After many years of speculation and tales, a new discovery was made in 2011, when the body of a huge sea creature washed ashore on a beach in the Bahamas. Witnesses described the carcass as only part of the monster, and local fishermen recognised it as a giant octopus, and believed it was the legendary Lusca. The fact that there are very few eyewitnesses to these ferocious creatures doesn't mean we can rule out their existence, because as the legend goes, if you do encounter one, you will not survive to tell the tale, as these predators will always go for the kill. So that's 5 fascinating mythical creatures. I hope you've enjoyed, and before I go, I want to let you know the Top 5 Thriller magazine is now finally live. We are all so excited because it's the first modern magazine to report and investigate solely creepy and paranormal subjects. In issue 1, we are talking about ancient ghost sightings that go back as far as ancient Rome, to the creepy paranormal encounters that have taken place in one of London's most historical buildings, the Tower of London. If you want to check it out, then click on the link in the description and on screen to download the magazine app on any mobile device, and you can start your 30-day free trial, which you can cancel at any time if you do not like it, which I don't think is going to be the case, as we have put a lot of effort in sorting through the most credible research and sites out there to bring you articles that are lost on the internet. I will also be narrating some of the content in there to give you that bit extra, and you can listen and read offline anywhere at any time. Thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed, I hope you'll love the new magazine, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.